Yes, I'm one is driving, or the other one, you are with him.
What makes you think you can stand there and judge me?
A rebellion in a rebellion is just that story of a peaceful village tucked away somewhere in the war. They didn't know that the war was even going on because the Nigerians did not know them, the Afghans did not even know them. First of all, the soldier who was runaway soldier entered, then this mad sergeant entered. And everything turned topsy-turvy.
Who are you? Who are you? We are a peaceful village. We don't want any trouble.
We are peaceful too. We are not here for trouble.
We need people to look at situations, and we want people also to be able to react to whatever that is confronting them. When you look at that movie, it's a lesson in various dimensions. Lesson on how we should be able to nip something in the bud before it blows out of proportion.
Yes. It is obvious that you are not our brother.
What do you want?
We have come to find out what is going on.
When we start getting closer to them, you start keeping track of that. Because I'm going to literally be jumping from like, week 10 back to day 1. And I know what I'm talking about, but just kind of catch me and say what day is this or something before we start shooting.
Rebellion the Rebellion. It's a story. There are two things going on. Of course, people are going to focus on the love. Like it's like you find a nice little love story in this really tumultuous situation. But what really stuck out to me was the fact that in a situation where people who never thought they would have power in their lifetime get exposed to it, all kinds of crazy things start to happen. Or for example, at first you think, well, it's not going to happen to me. Whatever is happening there. And people shouldn't just limit this story to just, oh, it happened back then. It happens now. You have a situation where people say, well, it's happening over there. It's not coming to me. So in this lovely, peaceful town, around them, war was going on, but it wasn't happening to them. They were going about their lives. They never thought it was going to happen. And so now when all of a sudden, someone who shouldn't have power gets power, a lot of people can get affected. And usually, unfortunately, the people who do get affected by it are usually children. Your women and your children. And it's a sad situation.
Where is your husband?
With my mother alone.
Oh, you're mad enough?
Oh, he's only a child.
The story is something that's happened in the 60s. So it's a bit challenging because every character that appeared there, the appearance must change. It's not as if it's something that's at present, from the hair to everything, to the makeup, the kind of eye pencil they put there. You have to be very, very careful. And especially the most challenging part of it is the soldier, the wounded soldier. You have to follow the wound from stages to stages, where it is fresh and when it's fading out.
On action, because then they start jumping out. It will match here, you understand?
I like the story. At least it's a story that will take our minds back to the origin, And I am very happy to work with the directors, Uncle Chris and the daughter. I've acquired a lot of experience working with them.
I make sure that there's no dull moment. I make sure that everything is in order. If you look at the production, it's a very large one. We have a lot of equipment. Many of them were not even taught.
So let them say.
We have different set of cameras. Most of my challenges were like running around, calling people even when they are tired, and some of them will say some things that will try to make you lose your balance, but by special grace of God we are able to overcome it, and the job is a successful one.
I'm playing the role of OKPARA, OKPARA ordinarily is a character, you say, an average citizen, everyday kind of man, simple man, living his own very simple life. Going on as much as his means can carry on, but a great lover of his family and by extension his people. So when the war broke and it became near impossible for him to continue to live in the city, Lagos that is, with his family, so he returned to the village, apparently to the peace of the village, apparently to the peace of his home, to the peace of his new found country, that is Biafra, away from the hostilities of the war. But in a much more deeper sense, talking dramatic literature now, I think it is OKPARA is a character for me that is very, very deep. His convictions are so profound that once he gets on the go, it is almost difficult to stop him.
It's not been easy, quite alright, but when I read the script, like I said before, I understand what the story is all about. Now I will liaise with my director, he will give me his own concepts of what he wants. So with the things I've gathered from the script and what he has told me, I will now make my own research so I can get the proper things that are needed in the job. But this one is a job I've never thought I would come across in the industry because these stories are hardly seen. I had too many challenges in the job, like asking people what Biafran uniform looks like, because then, like he said, I wasn't born, I've not been born, and too many things I don't know about that. While I was making the research is I went to Mopo and so many offices. Then they were telling me some stories. I even had to ask my father one or two things, which he told me about the flag and everything. I said, okay. I gathered some good director because I think he was one of the Biafran soldiers there. He gave me some good guidelines. And then I did a serious research and then got what he wanted.
Okay, NS is someone who follows the command from the sergeant. He is not acting basically on his own free will. He acts based on the informations or the command given to him by the sergeant.
Oh, no comrades. No mosquito. Now only yours.
Now you're catching
oh, God.
So we are home.
John, sir.
Our people say they do who Amaro Toshin. Now you have taken it, we know.
Who waiting?
Uduaho.
No,
Amaro Toshin.
Skipo is a fun-loving person to work with. He's easygoing, but he has principles. And he is a perfectionist. And he doesn't mind how long it's going to take him to get what he wants from you. He has that patience, and that's the driving force. And I love him for that.
I would even like the war to continue, so I will also go and fight for the struggle. Yes, so that I can also... Hi, Mama.
Mama,
what have I done now?
Wanama Shogiri. I will take the evil spirit out of you.
Well, when I was given this, the script, I went through it and I have to make some inquiries. I called my father, I have to say the truth. So I called my father and I asked him that in 1968, 69, 70s, because the director told me the nature of the story, the things that happened in those days. So I now asked my dad, so he now narrates everything to me. So I now said, okay. And I called some people around and asked them, where can I get such houses? You know, it's not just an ordinary houses. So one of the persons that I called and said I should go to NGOZIE. When I got there, by the grace of God, I started seeing the houses. Then I went in there, I started negotiating with them. So that was how I got the whole thing.
I played the role of Emeka. Emeka is a son to Papa Okpala and a younger brother to Chinyalum. A character that tries his best possible to protect his elder sister.
I'm heading the costume department in this particular project. When I got the script, it was a good one. I had to go do my research on the costumes they were in the 1960s. So I came up with a lot of things and ideas. When the job started, it went well.
Chinyalum is actually Daddy's girl, and who has a lot of things going up there in her head. She's a very ambitious person, and but unfortunately she finds herself in a place where women are not heard. Women are not given the opportunity to express themselves, and that's about it. For my director, Uncle Chris, wow. When I first of all got this, got a call from him to play Chinyalum, he asked, I should send my email address. I sent it to him, and he forwarded the script to me. I went through it, and I was like, wow, that's, for me, I've been away from the industry for a long time, and this was like a great comeback for me. I'm not just coming back to the industry with just any wishy-washy kind of production, but a production that is really going to stand the test of time. It's going to be in the minds of people for a long time. So the script for me was very, very, very interesting. The character was very challenging, and I loved everything about the production. So I was just willing, and I couldn't wait to just be on set with everybody.
Everything has been so nice, you know. Everyone in this production, they are so cooperative. So it's not all that hard for me. Yeah, call time, we'll come out, go to shoot, we'll shoot. God helping us, we'll achieve a lot. Each day we'll come back. Yes. You know, as a production manager, first thing that comes to play when you have the script, you immediately have the mind of the writer. Then you can now go and do some research in order to get the best out of the script. So I was not born then. My parents, I believe they were there then, but after a little research, I was able to gather one or two things. Then I now look at the script, and the script gave me a guideline of the things that I needed. So we move in to get those things done. So far, so good. It's been awesome.
OWOH plays a very prominent role in the village. Diokpa is like OWOH. He also plays a very important role because he is the go-between between the villagers and the ruling Igwe, or the traditional ruler. In this particular show, this film called Rebellion, the Diokpa stands out as the village head, and some other elders work with him to oversee the village. So it happened that it is during the war, and the insurgent soldiers came in. When they came in, they sought for accommodation. So they went to the OWOH. OWOH, in consultation with other elders, found them accommodation.
Whereas we did not see the victims in this story at the war front, but the direct effect of the war completely engulfed the community and overwhelmed it.
Cut.
This is one of the most challenging jobs I have done in this business, character-wise and production-wise, and in every aspect. I learned a lot in this particular project. So we look forward working with people who are trustworthy like this.
Ebuka is a bruised soldier, a deserter,
like he ran away from the war.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he got bruised, and he felt there was nothing he was fighting for because his parents were gone, his sister was missing. There's this sergeant, the drill sergeant, who was on his case. So all those things, put together, he got frustrated. In fact, I am so amazed that people know so much about what happened in the war. I wasn't there at that time, but apparently I've learned so much from the script. I've learned so much from the director. He's actually a booker in the story, so he has told me so much, and I feel for him. It's a wonderful one. I'm so pleased to be here. I am so lucky to be here. I must say that.
You're joking.
I'm very serious.
My father came out with a cutlass and chased this boy down our street.
So did he catch you?
No, he got caught. The police caught my father.
Oh no. You don't. Serious.
I was so much interested in this industry, even though it has not sprouted then, that I had to go into some of these soap operas and sitcoms like BARBER and Company and New Masquerade. But I did not go as an actor. I went into it as somebody in the crew behind the camera. As a writer, I have to give kudos to people like OWOH, Chris OBI-RAPU. Those are the people who helped me. And Chris OBI-RAPU was the person who really punished me in script writing. And he gave me a lot of leverage. When people are correcting you, I can bring something in the script and then bring an idea and say, no, this is nonsense. Then later I will say somebody to come and call me. Don't you know that this thing that you're doing should have been there and there? I will explain the more I can. But that thing gave me the guts to really learn more. Because I already did something to me.
They will do a flashback when you were a tinker. Then now when you came back to reality, you start asking the question, what were you doing before? One, I said, what I change it is that the other one will say, the first one say mechanic, but I don't take mechanic. First book of mechanic is say honorable job. He said that the brother is living with in a bar with a magician. So that means to you, he says, so that means assistant. No, he says, so you're a magician assistant, not your brother magician.
But I was well tutored by people who were in authority and people who knew what they were doing. When I write BARBER and Company, I give myself a little role. When I wrote New Masquerade, I still gave myself some little role. From there, I started coming up until I was full blown in front of the camera.
Why are you here? To serve my fatherland, sir.
Are you a soldier?
No.
On behalf of all of us, that is my name now. And I've already prayed and baptized it. So
wine was brought for all of us.
All of us. So
and who is all of us?
Me, my own and the rest of us.
My own, all of you. The person don't talk all of us, he talk all of you. So my name now all of you. So how is it testing, sir?
No, ask me how you do.
Yes. Why are you rubbing your belly on his behalf?
No, ask me how you do.
How you do?
Nobody's asking me how you do. From your face. Nobody's asking me how you do.
From your face, we know how you do.
Our people say, our people say,
well, now, you see, they are putting up arguments and therefore bringing down the quality and the value of this drink. So, wait, no, wait. I will try another one. But it's true now.
No,
who's not fair? Me, no? You're a director. So you are. The other director is always fair. Yeah. Whatever you say.
Yeah, whatever you say.
I hope not to hear.
Well, I looked at the world we are in today. I look at the ISIS or ISIL in the Middle East. You look at Boko Haram in Nigeria. You look at what is happening in almost all over Africa. I use the Biafran case as an example, where people thought that, oh yes, this is our own people. The revolution of the people, and that means nothing should go bad in that revolution. But somewhere in the line, certain things went bad. People who are supposed to deal good with their people started maltreating them.
I must say that this is not one of our usual Nollywood shoot. From the day I read the script, I knew it was not going to be. I had also placed myself in the new reality that I was not going for a 2-day, 3 days shoot.
The story is beautiful. And even though it's in an old setting, if you really pay attention to the message, you can apply it to things now, you know, where you have to be aware of what's going on. Don't wait for it to come to you before you react or, you know, do something. And also, too, when you do get power, don't abuse it. You know, understand that you can continue to have this power if you actually take care of people you need to take care of. Don't let it, you know, don't let it go to your head. Those are the things that you can kind of pick up from the story.
One thing I believe that this production coming out is going to throw more light to some people, so many of us who were not there during the war, the things that happened, and you know, there was this about 2 days ago, some scenes we shot like a party. You see some old men doing some rocking things.
The soldiers do not understand that the elders of the village understood what was one man no wood. They understood it properly, and it is improper for them to give out their daughters to soldiers they do not know to go for man no wood. You understand me? It became an issue. It became a problem.
There's a lot of attention to details. Of course, you know, a story that takes you back in history is such that you have to be very careful. Careful with the props, careful with the set, careful with locations, careful even with costumes, so that you don't miss it. So far, we've had a good shoot. I think I'm one of those that's very, very excited about it.
All my works, I see them as classics. And I know that it's entertaining. It's a family movie. There is no vulgar language. Well, shedding of blood is there once, but we made it in a way that you don't see the blood and you don't see... we play down all these things, and then we make sure that people will really enjoy it.